Okay, the session is live now.
Okay, I have to restart
Yeah.
again.
Yes, sir. Okay, I will start it again. So, Jai Bhim and good evening to you all. I'm Dr. Sonika Bodhi from Chhattisgarh, Vice President IDF. Today we are going to have a webinar on the topic annihilation of caste. Before that, I'll give you a brief description about the topic, annihilation of caste. It is an undelivered speech written in 1936 by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In a letter dated 12 December 1935, a Hindu reformist group organization based in Lahore invited Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to deliver a speech on the caste system in India at their annual conference in 1936. Ambedkar wrote the speech as an essay under the title Annihilation of Caste and sent it to the organizers. However, the organizers found some of the content to be so venomous towards the Hindu religion, so intemperate in the idiom and vocabulary used, and so incendiary in promoting conversions away from Hinduism that they sought the deletion of large sections of the more hateful content. They wrote to Dr. Ambedkar seeking the removal of the sections which they found in their words unbearable. However, Ambedkar denied to change even a single comma in his text. In the essay, he stated that intercaste dining and intercaste marriage is not sufficient to annihilate the caste system, but that the real method of breaking the caste system was to destroy the religious notion upon which caste is founded. Today we are going to see annihilation of caste in a very different scenario, that is in a neurosurgeon's perspective. For that we have a very special guest speaker today, that is Dr. Ling Raj. Let me introduce him. He is an MBBS MS General Surgery, MCH Neurosurgery, AFMC, Fellowship Interventional Neuroradiology, Bicêtre University Hospital, Paris, France. His important achievements include he is a neurosurgical resident from India to present a paper in World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies Conference at Istanbul, Turkey. He is a recipient of WFNS scholarship for neurosurgery residents to attend World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies Conference 2017 held at Istanbul, Turkey. He is also an International Vista Resident Member 2017 Congress of Neurosurgical Surgeons. He is a university topper in summer 2017 university level final examination for the degree of MCH Neurosurgery conducted by Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. He is trained under father of microneurosurgery, Professor Yesargil, in his lab during 9th Istanbul Microneurosurgery course 2019. He is a clinical fellow under Professor Jacques Moret and Professor Lawrence Pelley in endovascular neurointerventions at Bicêtre University Hospital, Paris, France. He is keen interest in both combined and endovascular cerebrovascular field. So I welcome you, Dr. Lingraj, sir. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Sonika, madam. That
Yeah,
was
thank
so nice of you.
thank you,
Uh,
sir.
it was a good, heartily welcome to the Ambedkar Caravan and IADF. First of all, I would like to say thanks and congratulate my country and Government of India and all the frontline healthcare workers and all the public workers who are managing this COVID-19 pandemic in our country. And I am very grateful to Government of India and Government of Karnataka for doing a wonderful job by launching a mission Vande Bharat to rescue the stranded Indians across the globe. So I was one of the rescued international traveler, and it was a nice experience, and I had no problem while traveling or the stay in the quarantine anything. So I would like to say thanks to the Government of India and Government of Karnataka. They are doing extremely good job. And the healthcare workers, of course, I would like to say them thanks, including myself, because I think I am one of the few doctors in the world who uh, who got the chance to work in two affected the COVID-19 affected countries. So I was working all these days in France, Paris, and Bicester University Hospital when the COVID-19 was pandemic in that country. Now it is in well control, but my country is in the disease is spreading. So I volunteered myself to come back to India to join hands with the healthcare workers to fight against COVID-19. And I would like to say thanks to all the citizens of my country for their immense cooperation and support in stopping the spread of this pandemic in my country. Today, the topic is annihilation of caste. For those, there are a few people whom I invited personally. Uh, for those who have heard the name annihilation of caste for the first time in their life. So I am mainly focusing on these people to bring their attention to the novel work, one of the novel work done by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the year 1935. I would like to apologize for putting the headline as annihilation of caste in neurosurgeon's perspective. So, of course, there is no connection between the caste and a medical profession. No doctor in the world differentiate anybody for that matter based on the caste, creed, or religion, including myself. So my main aim to give this title to today's presentation was Dr. Sonika Bodhi on behalf of IIDF and Dr. Ambedkar Caravan. They have given me opportunity to speak about this work, the good noble work done in the year 1935. So I am relaunching the super buster, blockbuster, whatever the movie, which was produced in the year 1935 today. So to relaunch the blockbuster movie in the era of Sheila Ki Janawani or Tiger Zinda Hai, I need to do some attractive things like the grand entry of hero and a few action scenes and item songs, something like that. So I thought, what way I can attract the listeners to get more listeners into the today's session. So I thought the annihilation of caste in neurosurgeon's perspective sounds good. That was the only reason for me to give this title for today's session and nothing else. So I would like to declare this before starting my presentation. Come, let's go and see what it is. So it's all about a work done by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the year 1935. It was on the caste. It was the best the detailed research work done by any the learned person across the world till today. So this is even till today available in Columbia University American website, and you can see the slide I've shared is taken directly from the Columbia University website. So it states that Dr. Ambedkar self-published this work, which was prepared but not delivered, and it became an immediate classic. I repeat, it became an immediate classic. Immediate means, and that time, during 1935 and 36. So it gained the attraction of the intellectual people across the world. It was not limited to a one group or people in India. It was across the world. It was so I would like to call it as a blockbuster movie in today's world. So when you see this book in the front page, the first page, there is a saying.
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, I have shared the
screen. No, it's not visible.
Oh,
yeah.
Something wrong.
Yeah, just check it, sir, once.
But my voice is audible, no?
Yeah. Your voice, audio, video, everything is
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share it from your side?
Yeah, I can. Okay. Is it visible?
No. For me, it is okay. I will manage my laptop. I don't need your slide views. I can view on my own.
Okay. So I just share, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
So you
proceed?
can continue. Yeah.
Okay. So today my job is to know the truth as truth and untruth as untruth. I will deliver as it is the whatever is written in that book, nothing else. So before starting my presentation, I would like to give a brief background about this small book. It's about 100-page book. Why it created so much of curiosity in me. So with the intention of paying back society, I was looking for some social movements, social organizations to join, and to give whatever possible to pay back to the society, from where I got what I am today. So one of the social organization had a task of book reading. In this book reading task, the first book recommended was this Annihilation of Caste. So you believe me or not, that was the first time I heard the name of this book, Annihilation of Caste. And it was a very small book of about 100 pages. And I was given the soft copy of this book, and I was asked to read. So, but I prefer to read the hard copies in the real book rather than reading the soft copies. I am not used to that because we doctors, medicos, we do a lot of marking in whatever we read with the all with their pens, pencils, and all. So I asked them where I can get this book. I want to get the hard copy. Then I was surprised with the reply that this book is nowhere available in the market, and I was furious as a supporter of, as a follower of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So I thought, let me check myself why this book is not available anywhere in the market. I went in Bangalore to famous bookstores and I checked myself. For my shock, forget about this book. There were only a few books, hardly some 10 or 5 books of Dr. B.R. related to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was present in that big bookstore, which was a 2-floor building, and there are multiple branches of that bookstore in the Bangalore. I was so shocked, and I went to the shopkeep, whoever sits in the shop, and asked him, "Do you think is there any better writer who are born in this land, better than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? And you have not kept his books, any of his books, when all other writers' books are available. What is the reason?" And he had no answer. Then I tried to figure it out in the smaller bookstores, in the roadside, the streets, everywhere. Nowhere this book hard copy was available. I was surprised. So the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is recognized as the global philosopher, best social reformer, and social scientist. His own book, which was recognized worldwide for his work on the caste, is nowhere available in his own country. I could not digest this. And I went into so many sleepless nights. Why it happened? So I was thinking of two reasons. One is either it is illegal, that is why it is not available anywhere, or some evil spirits are preventing this to reach to the common man like me. So first option is ruled out because the West, the Columbia University claims that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the founding father of modern India, the double doctorate, the greatest philosopher of the world, who was born in my country, and a book written by him is not found anywhere in my country in the bookstores. It cannot be illegal. It cannot be illegal. That option is ruled out. Then the second option is, so some evil spirit is stopping this book to be available to the common man of my country. If that is so, why? What is there in that book? That created a lot of interest in me to go behind this book. And one of my very close friends, she helped me to get this book online through Amazon. So when I opened the book, it was like, it was very difficult for me to digest even one page. For a person like me, who don't have a habit of reading other than our medical professional books for decades together, and seeing this book, going through even a single page was very difficult for me. But I determined myself only because this book is nowhere available in our country. I wanted to know what is there in this book. That was the only intention. And I took first time nearly 3 months to read this book, go through this book. I had a lot of patience. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's, the English knowledge is immense and nobody can match it. And his English is difficult to digest for some people. But it is not so when you try to read this book. Maybe there will be one or two words in each page that are different, or you might have not heard of those words. But no problem. You take the dictionary, or you go to the Google, take the help of the Google search, and find out the common meaning of that one word. So that is crucial for you to understand that whole page. If you think that one word, if you skip without knowing the meaning of that word, and if you pass on to the next page, you will not understand that whole page. Then when you start reading from page 1 to last page, so you will be totally lost like thing. You will lose your patience, and you will find nowhere. But when I finished the last page, suddenly I got something like enlightenment in my life. So not nearly as the Jnanodaya to Lord Buddha, I cannot say that, but I got some enlightenment in my mind about the practices I am doing in my life, the cultural practices I am having in my family, and so on. So this is the background of this book. Then after going through this book, the next question came into my mind is, so this is the one of the best books of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which can be suggested for anybody to read, to know about the thinking capabilities, and his way of propagating himself as a social scientist, rather than something like preacher. But it took 37 years for me, as a Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's the follower, to know about his one book. Why it happened so to me? Why none of the leaders or the seniors whom I used to listen, I used to interact with them throughout my life, listening to Dr. Ambedkar stories and all, why nobody suggested me? So that was the second question which was in my mind. Then I started doing some small research. Why it happened so? Why I took 37 years to know about this book? When I interacted with so many leaders among the known to me, who talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar for hours together, even they were surprised. And most of them also heard this name for the first time in their life. And it was shocking news for me. Only few of those leaders were knowing the title of this book, but they never read this book. And only one person I got came across who has read this book, but he could not make the importance of this book to be realized to the younger generation like me. So then I thought we should initiate something, we should do something, because to know truth as truth and untruth as untruth is a right of every human being, irrespective of your the nationality, irrespective of your caste, creed, whatever it may be. And that too, a research done by a double doctorate, the globally recognized Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So come, this is the background. which created a lot of interest in me to take this book as a turning point in my social life. So all these years, I was lost in my professional life, and I had no social life. Of course, as all of you know, doctors don't have any social life because we'll be so busy. So this was the book of importance for me to change totally in my social life. So come, let's go and see what is there in this book. So as Dr. Sonika said in her introduction, this was the speech prepared by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to deliver in some conference, but it was undelivered. Then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar went ahead publishing himself. So can you imagine in the year 1936, when he published this book, nearly 1,500 hard copies were exhausted within 2 months of its publication. That is the power of this book. And it was translated into so many languages: Gujarati, Tamil, Marathi, Hindi, Punjabi, Malayalam. At the same time, this is why, this is why the Columbia University claims this book as the immediate classic. Most of the youth, we spend time wasting in reading fiction books. So I don't want to say anything personally. So after after me realizing the problem with this book, I feel all of us have done three mistakes in our lives as far as the annihilation of caste book is considered. The first mistake, or the first group of people who have done the mistake, is that who don't even heard this book, who don't even know about this book. And the second group of people, that they know this book, but they never try to read this book. And the third mistake of the people, including myself, is that some group of people who knows this book, who has read this book and understood, but they did not show any interest to pass this knowledge to the younger generation like me. So these are the three mistakes of my life which I have done as far as the annihilation of the caste is considered. So I have few disclosures for those who are hearing the annihilation of caste for the first time in their life. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was a double doctorate. He did his so many the PhDs and masters in Columbia University and London School of Economics. Even till today, you can see his achievements in the website of the universities, and they do conduct every annual international conferences on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the New York. So this is the importance and the power of the writer. Today, I'm going to speak about. I feel proud to present the book written by him as a common man. I am going to present you the whatever is there in the book. Nothing is mine or nothing is taken from somewhere else. So to understand this book in toto as annihilation of caste with a reply to Mahatma, we must know a few things about the conference held by Jatpat Chodak Mandal. This is the name of an organization of caste Hindu social reformers during those days. One of the prominent name in this social organization was Sant Ram. And the aim of this organization was only one. They created this organization with only own aim of eradicating the caste system among the Hindus by intercaste dining and intercaste marriage, as Dr. Sonika Bodhi mentioned in her introductory speech. But our Dr. B.R. Ambedkar did not like that any part of the movement, just because he postulated, he researched and found The real method of breaking up the caste system was not to bring about intercaste dinners or intercaste marriages, but to destroy the religious notions on which caste was founded. This applies to any religion across the world, in any countries. It is not confined to any particular religion or any particular country. You can apply it globally. It is left to your wisdom. So this is the reason there was a conflict of interest between the Mandal, the conference organizers, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. When a person like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who stick to his principles, and his mentors, the path his mentors have shown him, so he could not adjust to this kind of conference and organizations. And in the first go itself, he declined their invitation to preside the conference as the president and to deliver his presidential speech on the first go. But because of Sant Ram and so many other social reformers who were working in this Jatpat Todak Mandal, because of their effort, so Dr. Ambedkar was convinced and brought into the picture of the conference. So when you open the first few pages, you will find the letters of conversation between the Mandal and the Mandal organizers and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So you have to have a patience and the passion to read that as a letters of conversation rather than reading that as a simple fiction novel. Then you will realize and you will enjoy the real reading of Annihilation of Caste. I have made the mistake of doing so when I read it for the first time. And when I read this book repeatedly, I could analyze what was the wrong in me to conceptualize this thing when I read it first time. So after so many conversations, as per written in that book, the letters, Dr. Ambedkar came to know that this conference and the Mandal had the intention to see the content of the address which was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was prepared to deliver as a presidential speech in that conference. So after coming to know the content, there was one request from the Mandal to remove just only one word. I repeat, just only one word from his speech of about 30-40 pages to remove. Dr. Ambedkar said, forget about one word. I will not change even a comma or full stop in my presidential speech. And he rejected their offer of presiding the conference in total. And in my social movement, so I thought of giving some kind of task to the people, to the members, so that to draw the attention of them to go to this book and read this book. So just like today's webinar, I gave the name like Annihilation of Caste in Neo-Surgeon Perspective. But to be frank, I have nothing to do, or any doctor or medical profession has nothing to do with the caste. So in the same way, I conducted one the quiz competition based on this book. So we gave time for the members to read that book and come prepared, so that we make some quiz. You can see in the corner, the right and left, right side down corner. So one of the question is that Jatpat Todak Mandal 1936 annual conference was held at. The options were Delhi, Karachi, Mumbai, Lahore, and none of the above. So if anybody have read the book, it is easy for them to answer, because this conference in 1936, it never happened. It got cancelled. So if you know it has got cancelled, then it will create interest in you to know why it got cancelled. What was the mistake? Was it from Ambedkar side, Dr. Ambedkar side, or was it from the Mandal side? Then at least this will take you to the book, back to the book, and it will create interest in you to go through the book. There is one more important point I wanted to highlight for the listeners. When you go through the book, often you will encounter a lengthy sentences comprising of 3 lines, 4 lines. So as a common man, it will be difficult for us to understand. Unlike the literature people or intellectual people or social scientists, so on. For us, it is difficult to understand or digest. So I used to do this technique to understand and interpret in my own way. So I used to make a note of the things in the corners, margins of the page, like shown one example here. Dr. Ambedkar keep on saying, keep on explaining that reforming section of caste Hindu has no desire to alienate their orthodox fellows. And the self-respecting section of the untouchables have no alternatives but to insist upon reform being carried out. So this was told at written at a stretch in 3 or 4 lines. So sometimes, often, I do understand it will be difficult to understand or interpret it. Then you have to, take your own way of understanding, interpreting. So if you think that this is something not relevant or not that much interesting and skip to do that and proceed further, you will really miss something, the something really important in that page. Like one example shown here. So this is the reason why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not interested in Jatpat Todak Mandal or the conference, because the most of the organizers in that the Mandal were the had no desire to alienate their orthodox fellows. And the self-respecting section of untouchables like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they never had any alternative but to insist upon reform being carried out. After the few pages of letters, mutual exchange of letters between the Mandal and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the real story begins, or the real pages starts. Most of us apparently know that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not keen for the freedom fight, for the early freedom fight. But none of us had given a thought, why it happened so? Why? So you will get the real answer in the small book of 100 pages. That is why it was a blockbuster during those days. So in the book, throughout the book, you will come across so many characters, so many the world renowned leaders, intellectual people names. If you miss their names, or if you feel that it is not related to the name of a person and go ahead, you will really miss some catch in that page. For example, there is a sentence in the initial pages that dogma of Mills says one country is not fit to be ruled by another country. This was the claim by the freedom fighters, the leaders who are in the early days during 1910, 1920, those days. This was the argument they were putting forward. So if you read it as a sentence, you feel that this is dogma of Mill, okay, something, you will just skip it. But you put this word in the Google, dogma of Mill, it will take you to the different word. The dogma of Mill is nothing but it is a dogma written or postulated by John Stuart Mill. So he was a well-known social scientist, reformer, social reformer, and a philosopher from the West. I'm not sure whether he's from UK or US, and you will come to know about his life. Similarly, Sant Ram, Mr. Sant Ram name is mentioned often in the early pages. If you don't show interest in knowing who is this Sant Ram, why he used to do a lot of choo-choo, or why he was right behind Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, to bring him to that conference to deliver his presidential speech. You put his name, Santram, in the Google. It will take you to the different word. You will come to know who is Santram. Please do that. Then there is another uh, character comes, another person, the famous personality, Mr. Banerjee. So he was the first president, if I'm not wrong, of the Congress party during those days in 1910, 1920s. So he was the president of the Congress party, uh, which was fighting for the freedom. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not satisfied or not keen for the early political reformer before religious revolution, before social revolution, or before political revolution. This was not of his opinion. These were the opinions of his mentors from the West. So, but the rest of the country were jumping and keen to go for the freedom fight with the intention of political reform without religious revolution, without social revolution, without political revolution. So these are the sentences written in the book of Annihilation of Caste by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, where Mr. Banerjee delivers in one of the meeting a speech. So please read each and every line and word. It is very, very important. Mr. Banerjee says, I for the one who have no patience with those who saw we shall not be fit for political reform until we reform our social system. I fail to see any connection between the two. Are we not fit for the political reformer just because our widows remain unmarried? Just because our girls are given in marriage early than in other countries? Just because our wives and daughters do not drive about with us visiting our friends? Just because we do not send our daughters to Oxford and Cambridge? Cheers. The markings, explanatory markings and the brackets and the chairs, everything will give you a real kick. With what pain, with what struggle Ambedkar went while penning it down. Today, there are many of our widows in our country who got the rights to marry. Remembers Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's effort? Today, how many girls who enjoy the liberty or rights of the giving up this early marriage, child marriages, remembers Dr. Ambedkar's effort? Today, how many wives and daughters in our country who remembers the efforts of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar towards giving the human rights to the women of our country? And you see the next the line, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar replies, Mr. Banerjee replies in the same way with the same points. He questions Mr. Banerjee, are you fit for political power even though you do not allow a large class of your own countrymen like untouchables to use the public school? You do not allow them to use the public wells. You do not allow them to use the public streets. You do not allow them to wear what appear or ornaments they like. You do not allow them to eat any food they like. This was the scenario in 1935 or 1936, the written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So you compare with a contemporary situation. Is there any changes? It is up to your wisdom to analyze. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar strongly believed, after his researches and all, any country to become developed or to have a revolution, to be one of the powerful country in the world, first it has to go in the religious revolution, then social revolution, then political revolution. not skipping in between any of these steps. And he keeps on giving the examples of why he says so, which has proven true in the history. He writes, the religious revolution, social revolution done by Buddha, Guru Nanak, Prophet Muhammad, has followed by political revolution from Chandragupta, the Sikhs, and the Arabs. He gives the examples, taking the history as the evidence-based social science. So this is the beauty of this chapter, and it creates a lot of interest in you. By the end you finish this chapter, your concept will be clear. Why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not keen for early freedom fight. So please note down my words. Early freedom fight. He was not keen for early freedom fight, skipping the religious revolution, skipping the social revolution, straight away going into the political revolution. That was his concept, and he proved it in his research paper, which went into immediate classic across the globe. Few years back, I attended one social movement, and listening to one of our leaders, the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar followers, and he kept on talking for hours together. In one of his thing, he claimed that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar always used to address our Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi as Mr. Gandhi. He always used to address as Mr. Gandhi. Whereas our Bapuji Mahatma Gandhi was always used to address Ambedkar as Dr. Ambedkar. That was the knowledge, wisdom our Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had during those days. He kept on telling, but for me, it was something like how to believe it. It was not that much interesting for me as a youth of. So instead of what I mean to say, instead of just talking and talking for hours together, if you portray in the form of presentations with the original copies, like for example here, after many months of me going behind these kind of things, I came to know that what the speaker said was right. Then I got convinced. Till then, I was never convinced, and I never showed any interest in that sentence for that matter. So we as a Ambedkarites should develop a habit of the carrying out Dr. B.R. Ambedkar work in a different way. That era has gone where you stand in a platform and speak for hours together. Dr. Ambedkar was this, Dr. Ambedkar was that, this done, that done. Now in this digital era, no youths will have the patience to listen to the hours of your speech. And youths will get diverted into the fiction stories. Fiction stories, that is how the fictions gain more importance in youth life than the actual the social causes, social issues like the book I am talking today. So you see in the book, in the preface, if you carefully observe, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar mentions as Mr. Gandhi. Whereas when you go towards the end of the book, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar addresses him as Mahatma Gandhi. So it is up to the wisdom of the listeners to interpret whatever you feel like. So my job is to present the book however it is. So this was the important finding I observed in that book. Like this. So there will be so many important things which I might have missed. Somebody else will come up with. And please make sure that that wisdom, that knowledge has passed to the next generation, to the younger generation. Don't let the younger generation to be the scapegoats to the video games, the TikToks, and all those things. For you to, as Ambedkarite followers, to compete with the TikTok or the video game. So as I told you, you have to, the contemporary situation, you have to portray, present, carry out the work of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, also as per the time and the need of the situation. So I will give a overview of the book. To be frank, even though it is just a 100 pages book, it is impossible to cover in any webinar or any session. It is so vast, so extensive. There is nothing in that book like Ambedkar has not addressed, as Dr. B. Ambedkar has not touched. There is no issue like that. So there are 26 chapters in this book of Annihilation of Caste, written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which is published and maintained and by Government of Maharashtra till today. And there is a separate ministry by Government of India to maintain and publish the works of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So out of these 26 chapters, all are small chapters, 1 to 2 pages. So for me to explain you people in a better way, I divide into 13 chapters, first 13 chapters and the last 13 chapters. So as you can see, I would like to go with only headings. I will not go into the details of each chapters. If you see the first chapter is Annihilation of Caste, speech prepared but not delivered. One important thing you must observe, wherever you see the word Annihilation of Caste written by Dr. Ambedkar, you will also find that but it is not delivered, because see, owing to the cancellation of the conference by the reception committee on the ground that the views expressed in the speech would be unbearable to the conferences of the Jatpat Todak Mandal. Dr. Ambedkar wanted to tell wanted the people to know why it was not delivered. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not ready to take any blame on his part because there was no mistake from his part. And the second chapter is social reform versus political reform. This is the slide I covered here. This slide, freedom fight. So when you finish reading this chapter, you will have the clear picture of why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was not keen for early freedom fight. I repeat, early freedom fight. He was not keen for early freedom fight. He has beautifully explained in the 2 or 3 pages why a person should not be keen for the early freedom fight in our country during those days in 1910, 1920, like that. Then the third chapter is social fallacies of socialist. It was beyond my knowledge. So any literature people or social scientists do understand better than me. But of course, I could understand a little bit. And the fourth chapter is the caste and the economic efficiency. So in this chapter, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar keep on explaining and narrating with the historical examples across the globe, across the various countries, how contemporary situations during those days in the other countries, in other region, how was the economy efficiency and what was the economic efficiency in our country and why it was so. He explains it so beautifully. Is caste eugenic? See, this is the thing. If you don't put an effort to understand what is this eugenic, trust me, you will not understand anything in this chapter. So like that, 1 or 2 words will be there in each page, which will be difficult to understand, or we might have heard the very first time in our life. So go to the dictionary or Google, you see such the meaning. And when you come to know the meaning, it is really fun. It is really fun reading the chapter. The 6th chapter is Hindu society is a myth. So we all know that mythological things and historical things. So there are 2 views. about this. There are a group of people who believe in emotion-based uh, culture on mythology basis. There are few group of people who believe in evidence-based social science. So I am not here to tell who is right or who is wrong. It is beyond my wisdom or knowledge, and it is beyond the scope of this session. It is left to the viewers to go behind this, do some research, analyze yourself. You will come to know. It is not that difficult. The seventh chapter is caste is antisocial. Then caste resists spread of civilization. The caste and the non-emergence of a common culture. So we are proud. Since our school days, we are being taught that India is diversity, unity in diversity. We have so many diverse cultures. We are proud of it. In spite of that, we are united as a one nation. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says something else. You please go to this chapter and read yourself. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar takes you to the entirely different world. And I don't know, it is left to you. After that, whatever you decide, it's up to your wisdom. Caste prevents expansion of the Hindu religion. Caste and the lack of fellow feeling among the Hindus. The next chapter is caste as power of group over individuals. Caste kills the public spirit. So these are the first 13 chapters. If you carefully analyze these topics, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar he puts an effort to highlight what are the problems. So what are the drawbacks in those days in the India, in our country. So he opposes in the first 13 pages, but he will not stop there, because we see so many leaders, or so many people, so many youngsters, young people who are aspiring to be leaders, they just keep on opposing. That doesn't work, and it will waste everybody's time and energy. Please don't do that. When you analyze the next 13 chapters, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, after opposing, so what are the things were existing in our country in that time, he also proposes what's supposed to be done to fix these problems, where we went wrong. He also proposes what to be done. So I will go through quickly the headings of those next 13 chapters. The ideal of casteless society. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the great visionary, has postulated way back, 85 years back itself, to create a casteless society in our country. He explains and the present to you in a so fantastic way, you don't feel like getting bored while reading that. Then he will take you to the past history, what happened to this motherland in the past, the thousands and thousands of years back. So like Chaturvarnya of Arya Samajist, more on Chaturvarnya. Chaturvarnya continued. Chaturvarnya failed historically. He will not just postulate or just, it's not his assumption. He will prove, sign in a scientific way through his researchers, taking the examples of his mentors, taking the examples of other countries. And it is really, I found it is interesting for me. Then liberal Hindu attitude towards caste, how to abolish caste, the role of Brahmins, mind of the Hindus under the spell of the Shastras, religion of the rules must be destroyed, a program for reform of the Hindu religion, the points the Hindus must consider. After proposing, he comes to a conclusion. It is of a entirely different, you don't even imagine. In 1935 itself, he will come to a conclusion after opposing and proposing through his researches. So please go through his conclusion. It will be really interesting. So this is the overall picture of that small book, of 100 pages. So first 13 pages, he will oppose us the system which was existing in our country way back in 19 and the past. And the next 13 pages, he gives proposal. He proposes what to be done to save our country, to save our people as a one country, as a one nation. And he will come to a conclusion which is entirely different, and it is history now. I don't want to go into the details of that. So you have to figure it out yourself, help yourself, and serve yourself. So after the overview of the book, I will try to give you few ideas how you have to analyze the book. Like for example, if you can see in the slide, the left hand side column and the right hand side column and in the middle. In the left hand side column, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar writes in his book, in his initial pages itself, that he had no personal interest either going to the conference or delivering the speech, because I told you already what was his views and what were the views of the conference or the organization. So he clearly says that I have no desire to ascend the platform of the Hindus to do within their sight what I have been doing within their hearing. It's a beautiful sentence. Nobody can match the feeling, the real kick this sentence gives you. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues, if I am here, it is because of your choice. That means the choice of the organizers, the choice of the conference of Jatpat Todak Mandal, and not because of Dr. Ambedkar wishes. He was very clear about it in the beginning pages of the book. According to the Shastras, and the Brahmins is appointed to be the guru for the three Varnas, Varnanam Brahmano Garu. This is what he states at the end of, he finishes the initial pages. Then Mahatma Gandhi ji replies to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's the publication in his newspaper called Harijan, which was published in July 2nd, 1936. So you carefully see each and every lines of Mahatma Gandhi's reply. The committee appears to have deprived the public of an opportunity of listening to the original views of a man who was carved out of himself a unique position in the society. In spite of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar very clearly mentioning about his stance on attending the conference or delivering speech, and this was the view of Harijan newspaper. And also it states that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is not the man to allow himself to be forgotten. And it continues saying, remember this sentence, it is very important for all Ambedkarite followers. The orthodox will gain by reading it. What do you mean by that? That means there is something real, some bitter truth is there in that book. That is why Mahatma Gandhi states that somebody, whether being a liberal or being an orthodox, definitely they are going to gain by reading this book. Have you retrospect, all of us retrospect ourselves? Have we done that? Then who has read that book? Who gained something from that book? The orthodox. So Mahatma Gandhi has requested, has commanded, given a command to the orthodox during those days to read that book, to gain something, to be prepared for something. So it is left to the wisdom of you people to interpret in whatever the way you want. So then also it is mentioned that Dr. Ambedkar is a challenge. So it is a very, a beautiful sentence which I cannot forget. For me, each and every sentence in this book is like, the the movie dialogue, cinema dialogues of whatever Tiger Zinda Hai. You see today's youth, they tell the deliver dialogue to dialogue of all these fancy movies and all, whereas they supposed to go back to this book and by heart each and every sentence of this book. Whether they accept it or not, it is a different, entirely different. So after the reply of Mahatma Gandhi in the same book, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar will not leave there. He will reply back to Harijan's newspaper views that Mahatma completely dissents from the views I have expressed on the subject of the caste, as it is evident. But Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues, but my opponent being the Mahatma himself, I feel I must attempt to meet the case to the contrary. Otherwise, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has no interest to give reply to each and every person, and he need not, because he was the most learned person. He till today has a double doctorate, the greatest philosopher in the world, the greatest social reformer, political, so on. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues, supposing it was out of the motive of gaining the publicity that I printed the speech, who could cast a stone at me? Surely not those who, like Mahatma, lives in the glass houses. So this was a little difficult for me to understand what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar actually wanted to say. But now I understood, but it's difficult for me to express it out, to make you people understand. Okay, this is the real, you will really enjoy reading this book, each and every sentence, each and every page, each and every chapter. This is an example when you finish reading that book, how you are supposed to interpret. Otherwise, you mix everything. You mix the left-hand side column as the first 26 chapters, then the middle column, the reply by Mahatma Gandhi to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the right side column, the reply to Mahatma by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So you have to again go back to read multiple times, 2-3 times, to analyze, oh, what it happened, why Mahatma Gandhi said so, whether it is relevant or not, why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar replied in this way. So then you will understand this book. Now I will take the one simple chapter among these 26 chapters to enlighten you people how important each and every chapter, even till today, for the young leaders in the Ambedkar IIDF or Ambedkar Caravan. If you read, understand, and master each and every chapter of this book, when you become leader, it will be easy for you to reply back in the most scientific way, whatever your opponents keep on arguing. For example, in chapter 4, that is on caste and economic efficiency, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar states that it is a pity that caste even today has its defenders. It was way back in 1935. So in 2020, you just imagine yourself, does it holds good even till today or not? I'm not going to give any conclusions. It is left to you people, wisdom. That is the beauty of this book. Even though it is 85-year-old, even till today, it holds good. Contemporary situations, you have to correlate, match, understand, study thoroughly, then using the wisdom gained by this book with each and every words, each and every sentences, you can reply back in a powerful way, in a most scientific way to your whatever the opponents or whatever your kith and skin, your youngsters who keep on arguing with you. So the most common argument what generally people make is caste system is but another name for division of labor. If the division of labor is necessary feature of a very civilized society, then it is argued that there is nothing wrong in the caste system. So imagine yourself if somebody argue with you with these catches. So what are the funny answers we people keep on giving? If you read this book, understand get the command on this book, with the wisdom of with this book, you can reply them back with a most scientific way and in social science, whatever, and you will be easily able to convince your opponents, and you can take the confidence of your opponents. You can make them realize their mistakes, and you can bring their attention to read this book. So after mentioning these defenders' views, Dr. Ambedkar in 1935, he starts explaining why it is not so. He says, caste system is not merely division of labor, it is also a division of laborers. But in no civilized society, this division of labor is accompanied by unnatural division of laborers into a watertight compartment. So this is the catch in the whole page. Watertight compartment. What do you mean by that? I will give you an example. So take an example of a goldsmith and a blacksmith. This was the situation way back in India in the 19th century or before, much earlier. The division of labor based on the work as a goldsmith, as a blacksmith. So this was not just a division of labor. This was a division of laborer also on the basis of caste into watertight compartment. That means, what do you mean by what Dr. Ambedkar wanted to mean by that? So goldsmith cannot become a blacksmith. Blacksmith cannot become a goldsmith. They have to continue in whatever the division of labor, division of laborers in the watertight compartment for their life. And Dr. Ambedkar continues, caste system is an hierarchy in which the division of laborers are graded one above the other. Okay, if there is watertight compartment, goldsmith is goldsmith, blacksmith is blacksmith, no problem. But the next problem is, it is graded one above the other, like one laborer is superior to another laborer in the same way. In no other country, this division of labor accompanied by this gradation of laborers. That is what the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar puts the argument. And this division of labor is not spontaneous. It is not based on the natural aptitude, but this is based on the birth. So that was the argument, that was the postulation Dr. B.R. Ambedkar puts forward in this chapter. Now, if you know these sentences, so anybody who is a sensible person who will agree for this, who has to agree. So it will be easy for you to the participate in debates and arguments and all, if you have the knowledge. Then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues in the same chapters. Industry is never static. It undergoes rapid and abrupt changes. With such changes, an individual must be free to change his occupation. Without such freedom to adjust himself to changing circumstances, it would be impossible for him to gain his livelihood. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar continues, now the caste system will not allow individuals to take to occupations where they are wanted if they do not belong to them hereditary. If an individual is seen to starve rather than take to new occupations not assigned to his caste, the reason is to be found in the caste system, not anywhere else. But not permitting readjustment of occupations, the caste becomes a direct cause of much of the unemployment which we see in this country. Let us take the contemporary situation. How can you correlate this 85 years old book to the contemporary situation? This is one of the best examples I can give you. See, in this coronavirus COVID pandemic, the whole country is shut down. People are the inside the houses. People are not possible to do their jobs, carry out their day-to-day activities, and to make their earnings. So you see the priests, for example, priests of any religion or any country, for that matter, the priest who is doing the priestly work, he he can starve rather than take to the new occupation to make his livelihood. He will not try to make a new occupation, try to put an effort to change his occupation. A priest is born as priest and he will try as priest. So this is how you can, correlate with the contemporary situation. That is the beauty of this book. That is why this book is recognized as the best work ever done by a learned person on the caste. Another best example I can give you is that you just observe these words. Okay. I go quickly, then I will come back to each and every slides. I, for the one who have no patience with those who saw we shall not be fit to be Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans until we read and understand at least one of his original researches or the books written by himself, which is available in Columbia University website, as well as preserved and published by Government of India, Government of Maharashtra every year. I fail to see any connection between the two. Are we not fit to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people worship him in the same tradition or the custom against which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fought throughout his life in the most scientific approach, publishing his research work on it? Are we not fit enough to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people does not make his original writings available in their bookstores for sale? Are we not fit enough to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people, those who has read these researches and books, but neither talk about him, nor try to follow his ideology? Are we not fit to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because those who always speak about him never bother to read a single book written by him? Are we not fit to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people are not yet decided to recognize him as a father of Indian Constitution, while his own alma mater, Columbia University, declared him as the founding father of modern India? Are we not fit to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people are least interested to talk about the ideology proposed by his wisdom, in spite of he is the first in the list of 6 greatest personalities that shaped the whole world, declared by his another alma mater, London School of Economics, recently? Are we not fit to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people refuse to bring equality in our country, while Canada celebrating his birthday as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Day of Equality? Are we not fit enough to be called as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fans just because our people merely brand him as just one Dalit leader, while whole world accepted him as the greatest philosopher of the mankind? Cheers. So if you have carefully observed my initial slides, it is more obvious and evident that nothing is my word. Nothing has come out of my mind. It is all just because the power of the book which I have read, which I have understood, which I have to follow. This is an example how youth can take that the 85 years old book to the contemporary situations to make some, the things to create interest in the youths and youngsters, to make them to go back to that book and read that book. Whether they will follow it or not, that is a different issue. Whether they agree with the ideology or not, that is a different issue. But telling truth as a truth, untruth as untruth, is a fundamental human rights of everybody on this earth, irrespective of the caste, the religion, the country, wherever you are. So this is the pictures which went viral few days back in the media. The 6th March, London School of Economics celebrates 6 greatest personalities that shaped the whole world. The first in the list being the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You can see in the picture. And there was a small state in Canada called Burnaby, which claims April 14th as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Day of Equality. And on the left hand side, there is a picture which depicts something. And anybody who have visited Diksha Bhumi in Nagpur, where Dr. Ambedkar, the important place of Dr. Ambedkar, this stupa or the monolith is standing upright in the open air in the public space, but nobody bothered to see it, read it, or follow it, or to understand it, or to pass on it to the next generation. I took 37 years for me after born in this land to know this, the importance of this. You can see the bird droppings and all on this writings. So to conclude my session, as a neurosurgeon, I always used to teach my juniors, my students. This was my famous saying: if you get involved deeply while operating, the tissues will speak to you. That is true. That shows the level of your involvement. That shows whether you are enjoying your work or not. In the same way, if you start, when you start reading the book of Annihilation of Caste, if you really get involved deeply while reading the book, trust me, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar will speak to you directly. And I would like to suggest you, can you see the left-hand upper side corner, the book, the front page? So I would suggest all of you to buy the hard copy of this book. Don't go for the soft copies, because when you try to read the soft copies, it won't be that much interesting. First of all, because of the difficult English to digest, and for the people who don't have the habit of reading, it will be really boring. So you buy this book. It is available online. It is not available in any bookstores. You try yourself and cross-check whether what I said was true to the core or not, and you will be surprised. So please read this book, understand this book, analyze, and you will feel the pain with which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had written this book. The great visionary for the whole mankind. It is unfortunate that he is limited to one particular community in one particular region or religion in our country, whereas he never thought like that. His vision was to the whole mankind in the world. That was so clearly visible in this small book of 100 pages. Now, I am curious about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's writings and speeches. Now I want to know what is there in his next book. In what way you would have, the presented his views, his researches in that book. But unfortunately, because of my busy professional schedule and all, I don't know whether I will be able to do it or not. But if not today, definitely I will do tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely I will do one time in my life before I leave this world. This is the greatest leader of the mankind, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and his writings and speeches. Nowhere you can match with nobody. If you are happy with the emotion-based, the religious notions, and the people like with this kind of thing, they really don't enjoy. And if you think in a scientific way, you want to know the real history, what has happened in this many thousands and thousands of years back. If you are really interested to know the history rather than mythology, you will really enjoy Dr. Ambedkar works. Thank you very much. Thank you, ADF, and thank you, Dr. Ambedkar Caravan, for giving me this great opportunity to talk about the one of the greatest work done by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I feel this is the one of my, in my social life, this will be the most memorable day for me. I feel proud to present this book to the audience. Thank you very much. Have a safe, be safe, and protect your people also, and help our country, and help our government of India, government of Karnataka, to fight against the COVID-19, and we all soon will become normal as France is today. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful presentation, and you, with a true heart, you have opened all the pages of the book in through this presentation in front of the viewers, and you truly inspired and motivated all the viewers that they how to read and analyze the book by their own. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, few questions are there. Shall I?
Yes, I would like to answer, because this is something which is very interesting for me. I would love to answer.
Yes, sir. Yes. So the first question is, how can we annihilate the caste in this era?
Oh, please.
Though,
My topic is limited to the book. My
yeah.
I have given the task by Ambedkar Caravan and IADF through Dr. Sonika Bodhi to present the book. If you are going to ask this question, I think I'm the wrong person. I'm a poor surgeon. I'm sorry for that.
Okay, okay, sir. And the questions are like that only, sir. Everybody is,
So
want to know the
anything
solution
related,
for this.
just check out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the audience, because I feel if I don't know something, or if I'm not qualified to explain, I should not do that, and I should not mislead people. So
Yeah.
forgive me, pardon me. Please go through the questions. You see if there is any question related to this book. If there is any question related to this book, I would love to answer.
Okay, okay, sir. So I think we should conclude this session, sir.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the audience.
Yeah. No, no problem, sir. Thank you so much, sir, once again for your wonderful presentation. And as usual, I want to thank Ambedkar Caravan and IADF and Mangesh sir for this lovely platform to which we come to know about this book. And you have very well explained in a very easy manner that how can we read the book, we can enjoy the book. And thank you so much for that, sir. Jai Bhim,
Thank
and
you very
thank
much.
you all the viewers also. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Stay safe.